Basically, we have to get into LCS.
It's kind of like my last chance at getting into the LCS.
We've all spent the last 2-3 months trying really hard for this, so it would be really heartbreaking if we don't make it.
Our spot in the LCS, it's our livelihood, a chance at a career, our future.
It's a really new experience for me. I've never played in front of a lot of people before.
Getting back into the LCS would be rewriting what I wanted to do in the first place.
I played the LCS before, but now I'm really comfortable. I trust we can go LCS.
We may not even be individually better, but just because we've been playing so long together, we'll be better.
챌린저스 첫 경기 때 우리랑 붙어서 우리가 두 판 다 지고 이래서 우리를 좀 방심하고
It's going to be very hard for them to beat us 3 times.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2015 Spring North American Challenger Series Finals. The stakes are as high as they could be tonight. Whoever wins this best-of-5 match will automatically join the North American LCS this summer. Hey guys, I'm David Freet-Turley, and with me as always is this side now. Aiden Zyrene Moon, how's it going?
It's going pretty well, man. I'm ready for these games, ready to see who gets into the LCS.
It's going to be a whole bunch of fun, guys. Stick with us. Let's take a look first at the Challenger playoff picture, though. NM eSports, in their semifinal, they swept it 2-0 over Final 5. Great job there in the semis. They earned their spot in tonight's contest. Through that result, they're going to face TDK, who would top Team Fusion 2-1.
And last night, Team Fusion earned the last spot in the Summer Promotion Tournament with their victory over Final 5. They will join tonight's losing team and face either Team Dignitas or Winter Fox for the chance to replace them in the North American LCS this summer.
Before we get ourselves into the games and get them rolling, we're going to send it over to our analyst for a quick preview of tonight's action.
Thank you, Freak. Hello, I'm James Dash Patterson, and joining me on the analyst desk for this series are Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler, Joshua Jat Leesman, and the former Dignitas jungler, Alberto Crumbs Rengifo. Hello, gentlemen. How you doing?
Also a former Team Dignitas jungler.
Yeah, we know.
Just throwing that out there.
You are.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. That's why. All right. Anyway, we have a big match ahead of us today, guys, because the winner of this gets automatically promoted to the North American LCS. So a lot is on the line going into this 5-game series. I want to know from you, what are we most looking forward to from these two teams?
I'm really excited to see Seraph play again. I mean, he had a rough introduction to the LCS, struggled a little bit on CLG, but he's been thriving in the challenger scene. And, even though he's been playing a lot of Kennen and Nidalee and carrying for his team, I'd like to see him adapt to the TP Smite meta for top laners, because this is still 5.6. You can get Cinderhulk on a solo lane tank, and it is incredibly strong. He can make up for some of those Shyvana games that he had on CLG and crush here to get back in the LCS.
Yeah, we need the new meta really allows for a lot of pressure to come out of the top lane, and whoever is the better top laner will be able to exert so much pressure on the team and really ease up the entire map for the rest of the team. So I think that both these top laners will adapt to it and play the same style, and it's going to be a matter of who can adapt better to this and play the counter matchup of the TP Smite.
Yeah. And us as junglers, we're the first ones to feel that. When a top laner with TP Smite gets ahead, we all know it.
It's all we have to talk about. But honestly, Flair is the #1 player on the NA solo queue ladder right now. And typically, to me, when I see a high-ranked solo queue player, that's their ability to adapt quickly to things a lot of the time, or just play whatever's meta. Maybe they can't switch off fast enough, because whenever you're #1, you're playing what was strong at the time. But I think Flair's versus Seraph is a really dynamic matchup, since Seraph has been the carry for TDK, and Flair's is just a really good player. But the main thing I'm looking at is whether or not NME can transition their regular season success and dominance to a high-pressure situation like this, because throughout the entire Challenger Series, they were wrecking people. They dropped one single game to Fusion, and everything else was a win because they have clean play. Inox has actually been the carry of that team, and it's potentially a new ball game here at a live event.
All right, so there's going to be a lot of focus there on the top laners, as we've pointed out. Crumbs, what about you? Other positions within these teams that might have a big effect on this series?
Well, both top laners seem to do pretty well on their own, but it always comes down to when their jungler helps them out. Trashy likes to help Flares a lot, and same goes with Kez. And the matchup with the dynamic of the TP Smite is going to come down to who has the better 2v2 in the top laner, because it's weak in the early game. Who can have, the strong jungle matchup, the strong top lane matchup, and then transition that into a mid-game snowball for their laners. So the jungle and the top lane matchup, I think, is what's going to dictate this game in the early and late game, but the mid game is definitely going to be for the mid lane.
All right, and then finally, Crumbs, as a former LCS player and a player who's looking to get back into the scene through the Summer Challenger Series, this match here being that the winner moves directly into the LCS, how important is it for either of these teams to come away with victory?
Well, it's a really important match just because of how simple it can be for them to get back into the LCS. Just win a best of 5 and you're in it already. But I think NACS said it on Twitter a couple of days ago that he's just glad that he's here. You know, even if they lose, the opportunity to make it into the LCS is there. So if you're a team here, you just see it as a chance. Well, if we want to make it, we're going to have to be as good as an LCS team no matter what. So whether we lose here, we just want to be able to compete with the top 10 teams right now, or top 8.
All right, well, this is the time to prove it for both of these teams. We'll be back to break down game 1, but for now, we're going to send it back over to Freakin's Irish.